That's nonsense. The guy's been spot on in his projections, probably one of the most accurate CEOs about what's going to happen.
Bad news, guys. Our reporting indicates that for the first time ever, Jim Cramer might be wrong. To start with, RH has missed key earnings estimates in like 15 of the last 20 quarters. And in 2019, they paid $50 million to settle a lawsuit that claimed, among other things, that RH was selling products that didn't even exist. Then there's Europe. Last year, Gary said, "You go to Germany, we look really good." This year, RH took an $18.6 million impairment related to its German stores and sent the products from Germany back to the US. Gary was also super hype about England. He said first-year revenues were going to be between $40 million and $250 million. The reality is that RH hasn't even hit the bottom of that range in either of its first 2 years. We actually visited, and there were more deer on the property than shoppers. Now, maybe Gary's just ignorant, he doesn't realize. But it's also possible that he knows RH is not in a great spot. Because while he had the company buying back billions of dollars worth of stock, he personally unloaded like $750 million worth of his own shares. And now look at RH's cash position. It can't help that the company bought not one, but 2 private jets, which Gary's been traveling on a lot, landing in key business locations like Cabo and Ibiza, right before Gary's wedding there. And RH bought a yacht too, which Friedman also seems to be enjoying, at least when he hasn't been hanging out at what's been described as a personal penthouse at the top of a hotel building that RH bought with company money for $57 million. Now RH has resorted to major discounts. Friedman calls it disruptive pricing, but it's unclear that it's working. There are so many shipping containers parked outside their warehouses, you can see the increase from space. And as of their last earnings, RH was sitting on 198 days of inventory. That's over 6 months of furniture collecting dust, even with declining margins. And still, Friedman's latest projection? 19% growth in the next quarter alone. While nearly every competitor expects the opposite amid a declining housing environment. We ran an Altman Z-score test. That's this fancy financial formula developed in 1968, which predicts the probability that a company is going to go bankrupt in the next 2 years. A score below 1.81 indicates high risk. Among 85 US retailers valued at over $5 billion, RH has the second lowest Altman Z-score, 1.65. This puts them in what analysts call the distress zone, which means that they might be one housing crisis away from a very bad situation. But don't worry, guys. Cramer says everything is going to be fine.
That's nonsense. The guy's been spot on in his projections.
Read our full article at hunterbrook.com/RH.